process is something over time. If I were overweight and decided to lose weight, it would even be considered bad if it was too fast. But if I can do a process, I can see it drop and I can kind of control the time. There are certain processes, like a biological process, that to have a child. Okay, well, even saying child doesn't need 9 months for a healthy child anyway. It can be faster. So again, consensus, what we expect. What we intend. So now truly inside the energy of the transmission, imagine yourself in a scenario like waking up in Hawaii without knowing how you got there. You were at home and you went to sleep and you woke up. Would even be just as strange if you woke up a couple of cities away. But then your mind would fill in the gap that you were sleepwalking, sleep driving, and walked into someone's house and lay in their bed. Here, the time wouldn't allow you to think of catching a plane, going there, being unconscious. So how would your mind behave? If we were children, we go, brilliant, I'm at the beach. I wonder if there are dolphins. But the more grown up, the more adult we become, we need an explanation. So just feel into yourself what would happen to you. Even something like an illness and having a spontaneous remission. Not a gradual one, spontaneous. How did that happen? Or would you just say, amazing? Or would you wonder if you would get it back the next day? So the words of control come up, or of going mad, because reality doesn't behave in this manner. So it must be something's wrong or I'm going mad. So imagine a 1 year long project. It's still a timeline jump with many jumps to be more truthful, but our mind can develop that. So over the year, I become adapt or I become the personality, the identity of this project, this being. So the structure that I have in how long would it take, for example, for me to become a black belt martial artist? Hmm? Well, depending how many times I go, depending who my teacher is. So here we make the story, right? And it's a bit like the Matrix, the film. Can I download this and literally do it in a fantastically short time or a magically short time? So it's belief, the external belief and the internal belief, creating a contract saying, yes, I will do my practices and um, follow the instructions and what is expected will kind of occur. This is physical dexterity. So there must be some there before we start. I couldn't ask my brother-in-law, for example, because he is literally like a head popped onto a body, very stiff and no movement. But let's imagine. So this was I don't remember if it Beethoven or Mozart, but he could play the piano. So the only explanation that we can come up with, it must be a past life skill. How did he know how to play the piano when he was 5? So allow your consciousness to explore these ideas. And what they're saying is like the process can be like a little bit like a placebo. Um, I don't know what that means, but oh, so if you could take a pill and they say, after you take this pill, you'll speak fluent French, you think, oh, I can speak French, and it must be because of the pill. So it's what they're saying is there has to be some form up to now of an excuse for your mind to grasp onto something for why things are happening. So even if it's ridiculous, like I took a French pill and now I speak French, that is still more comforting than waking up one morning and speaking fluent French. And the examples that I give are a little bit ridiculous, but let's say I wake up one morning and I'm happy, or my anxiety's gone, or I've dropped into my heart. I'm not angry, or I've forgiven everyone. These jumps, would your mind ask, how did you do that? What happened? So, not too long ago, you couldn't get from one continent to the next in a couple of hours, like an hour's time. It would take months or days or weeks or whatever. Now you can. We can explain it because there is an aircraft. So, can we allow things to occur in our reality, in our energetics, without needing to find the process? Okay, so the process, if we can language it, it signifies that we could maybe recreate it. But very often, let's say an awakening and experience, the amount of people that want to recreate it and they become further and further away from the experience. So it is totally trusting And they're saying, so let's imagine if I wake up in Hawaii, I go, great, at the beach. Hopefully I transmute it there with my swimsuit. And I wonder where I'll wake up tomorrow would be a more logical questioning than how did I get here? Oh, this is fun. Where will I be tomorrow? Um, Much more along the lines of childlike, playful. There we go. I'm going to ask your consciousness why it needs the story, why it needs the process. We slowly undo the mindset. So remember the analogy of the elastic band. When I say I extend, I intend something, and I stretch the elastic. And very often, if I can't hold the new identity, I'll snap back to where I was. To create magic, freedom, if I can intend and be and really let go of even the concept of conditioning. Oh, that's conditioning. Oh, that's a contract. That's a habit. If I can literally jump a timeline and allow it to be, where is the resistance in my consciousness? So fair enough. It's great that we put this as an exercise. But let's say back to the example, if it takes a year, imagine doing 5 smaller jumps, which would create this one big jump. We need to get used to jumping timelines. We need to get comfortable with non-explanation, with mm, letting go of the how. We just are. So the more we can do that, the bigger, the more significant the jumping can become. It is our attachment to a process, to an explanation. just before this session, I had a client on, a gentleman who had said he was feeling much, much better. It's either your work or the chamomile tea that I'm drinking. And it was a joke, but for him, so with such a rational mind, if there's a process that he's involved with, like making a cup of chamomile tea, it's more comforting than changing because of energy or a different inner state. This is something very human, very timeline based. Get comfortable with the idea. Even we sometimes even justify things which I don't like people to do, because it's as if you excuse yourself for having reached either a status or it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, I got this because of this. Is so allow yourself the freedom of the magic of just being the new you in every breath. The year of the dragon. There is Saturn in Pisces. It's creating a structure in nothingness, in the imagination. It's allowing it's as if fifth dimension, we can't really explain it. We still try. So they would like me to make sure just to understand that the examples that I gave about waking up in a different continent are extreme example. But if you went to bed and you're a little bit of a warrior or a negative thinker, or you have anxiety and you woke up the next day, you didn't have that. That is a possibility. if you allow it to be a possibility. So we have an example of someone here that does body work. And body work is supposed to be physical touch, yet they do a quantum bodywork session, which works just as well or sometimes even better. And if you were a client of this person, would you go, oh, that doesn't matter, I feel wonderful, so that works? Or would you say, how does that work? If it's a physical body session and they're not even touching me physically and it's over Zoom or um, whatever the case may be, would your mind get in the way? What is it that you can accept and what is it that you reject? Well, trust in the bigger aspect of yourself. So allow. It's funny, like a process to undo the process to allow more acceptance of new states of consciousness, of being, of states that you prefer. It's as if we're creating a process to let go of the need of process. Each day. So what you look for, you get. So let's say if someone asks me, how'd you get here? And if you can answer, I just did. Make a little game of it or a practice, not to justify. This is always a good thing to do, but also when you ask yourself, how did this happen? See if you can just it just did. And if you like it, that's amazing. And if you don't, well, if this can appear, then something else can appear. There we go. Yeah. So again, I think we did this one. It's a little trick when you can say, I don't know how, but I would like this to occur, right? So I don't know how. So that means your mind doesn't need to find the roadmap, find the excuse, find the justification. I don't know how, but this is going to work out in my favor. There we go. Okay. So deep breath in. And